It has always like 1-2 minutes delay. All right. I think that we're live right now. So hello everyone. My name is Vasily. I'm the CEO of AMLBot and PureFi. And today we have Olha, who is the Chief Marketing Lead at Gateio.
No,
Did I say it wrong?
I'm a global senior marketing manager.
Okay.
But it's fine. I like that promotion that you gave me.
Yeah, so
Fingers crossed.
we actually, it's our first webinar within that series. And just 1 second. I think I have to close this. Yeah. So this is our first webinar within the series of several more webinars to come, where we will cover topics about cybersecurity, compliance, and overall the security topic of the cryptocurrency niche. And eventually, we hope that this series of the webinars will ultimately lead to a full-fledged online conference where we will have many clients and many various participants that will present on the same topics, and we're going to have a better discussion going on. So, Olha, why don't you introduce yourself, maybe a bit about your background, how have you joined Gate, and what are you doing now, where are you located, just some interesting stuff about yourself.
Hi, everyone. First of all, congratulations on this nice initiative. Wish you long and successful series with interesting guests. My name is Olya. I'm a senior global marketing manager at Gateio. I have been in crypto since 2017, working for a few interesting blockchain startups at first, and then being local marketing manager at OKX. And just recently, I joined the Gateio team for the global marketing. And that's actually my first event in this role and this position, and I'm thrilled, especially to talk about such an important topic.
Great. Thank you very much for this intro. So the way how we're going to have this webinar is we're going to ask Olga some questions about compliance and security, how Gate.io, which is a very big and well-known exchange among the users, and it's actually the only centralized exchange where PureFi is listed on. And then we will have some space for users' questions. So make sure you can already start posting questions to the chat, and then we will reward the 3 best questions with the free AML checks from AMLBot, where you can will be able to check any wallet or any transaction and get a risk score for that. Okay, so let's start. I was going to prepare the questions. At first, just wanted to ask you some questions in general, how Gate maintains its security and compliance. So, on your opinion, what are the negative and positive effects of the strict government regulations on cryptocurrency, and how does Gate.io in particular try or complies with those strict regulations?
First of all, we do think that the more regulations appear, it might be actually better for the industry, because it actually means that we can get more secure and safe with our assets and with assets of our users. Therefore, we take all the recent regulations with all due respect and attention, and pay a lot of attention to them. Obviously, we 100% comply with all the demands that we get and receive from the regulatory authorities, as Gateio is one of the longest existing platforms with one of the largest trading volumes. So we are well aware of the importance of blockchain asset security, and it's our priority. In this direction, we constantly work and improve our system. We invest huge funds through Gatechain security solutions, and we are also investing a lot in our internal security team, working in order to improve every day. We are using the latest technological solutions to secure the daily small traders and also big traders on our exchange, and we make sure that we are following all the recent restrictions.
Okay, so I understand that you mentioned that you see that the regulations, they actually bring more positive than negative because they kind of make the companies to become more secure, more compliant, more safe for the users. But do you see any negatives of because, some of the regulations, as I see it, sometimes they're too strict. Do you see any negatives of them?
Yeah, I do agree that it's kind of a debatable point of view, because we cannot regulate without restricting in some point, right? Therefore, it's important to keep that balance. Blockchain is about decentralization, and it's about absence of one power that kind of rules everything, right? But we also have to admit that everything that comes with the financial means and investments requires close attention that have to be paid to it. Therefore, in Gate, we are trying to find the balance in between ensuring the security and safety of our users, but also protecting their personal information and also protecting their basic rights according to the domestic laws. Obviously, regulations are different from one country to another, and our legal team constantly updating instructions, external and internal instructions, and making sure that we are compliant with laws. However, at the same time, we are protecting our users from being overregulated at the same time. So it's mostly, for us, it's mostly not about trying to be convenient to some governments, but trying to be safe for our users and trying to keep up with pace how world is developing, especially technological world, and new hacking schemes appear every day. Therefore, it's important for us to cooperate and also to adopt.
Thank you. I agree with what you said. Just to add, I also think that an open dialogue with the regulator is also very important. For example, in PureFi, we are a member of INADBA association, which is a European association, which is non-for-profit. It's just formed by the European Commission and by the various blockchain organizations, not necessarily the European ones. And those kind of organizations, they kind of help to also educate the regulators because, for us, it's bread and butter. We know how blockchain, how everything works. But for the regulators, it might be something new that they don't know. So maybe that is why some of the regulations sometimes seems a bit off. So yeah, I hope that the industry will be moving forward to some mutual beneficial regulators that will protect the investors but not over-regulate.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Gate, we mostly focus on users instead of focusing on organizations or something, institutions. We are putting our traders on the top, and we are making sure that they are protected in the first place.
Okay, nice. So recently, probably you've noticed, there's not a secret, there have been so many hacks, so many internet thefts where people either got scammed or even the whole centralized or decentralized exchanges or protocol got literally drained, funds got stolen, millions of people lost money. So what kind of specific, maybe not specific, or like some general tools, resources, or technologies does Gate use to keep its clients and their assets safe?
So I'm proud to say that Gate is one of the most secure exchanges in the world because we are providing more than 10 multiple security solutions, regardless of logging, transaction, or withdrawal volume or amount. We provide a full range of active and passive protection methods. I think of one of the most effective things is that there is so-called hot and cold wallet available for users. So the trader can set up a reasonable strategy to store most of the assets in the cold wallet. And it provides like the remote backup, bank custody, media storage, multiple signature, and completely offline options to ensure the absolute security of assets. And then the hot wallet is more like useful for daily trading, right? But it also is secured with multiple technical means such as multi-signature, threshold signature, cloud data risk control, and so on and so forth. I think our multi-signature technology is one of the well-developed in the industry because it's kind of like unique in its own way. We also provide the withdrawal protection, and in order to withdrawal to be executed, it have to proceed with at least 2 or multiple security authorizations, and the withdrawal can only be passed after the identity verification is complete. There is also like mobile verification and so on. So we do provide our users with all set of means to secure their assets in a way.
Yeah, I understand. So basically you try to secure the account with multiple authorization methods. And I also
Yes.
experienced that sometimes you're like, why do I have to put so many authorizations? But in the end of the day, it's for your own good, for your own protection. So it's definitely a plus. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So let's move on. Maybe it's a bit weird question, but I know you said that there are all of those tools that you've just mentioned, like multi-sig, some cloud protection, but in the end of the day, can user account on the Gate still be hacked? And have you ever had any case in the history where the user's cryptocurrency was stolen?
I could say that we have never had like a big issues with the stolen assets. We do provide the internal control layer. So actually, this is basically the regulatory review of access permissions, and we try to detect and eliminate unnecessary account visits. So we do make sure that the users that is logging in is real. This is in terms of how we protect them from being hacked. And also we do make sure that we are secured internally. All the staff must go through a strict process to determine the source and purpose of any visit. If our workers like visit the account and do some checks inside of it. I do believe that a lot of hacks that happened in the last years did occur because of the lack of internal security in the system, right? Exchanges usually have a big amount of staff hiring people from all over the world. In that way, we are very, very, very secured and we are very closed. It's almost like very difficult to get into our tech team, and all the staff have to go through the very thorough checkup. I think that's the strong point, and people don't usually pay enough attention to that. Therefore, we gain this status of being safe and secured because in some way our users can say that yes, we have a lot of like authorization to go through, but at the same time they are sure that no one is logging into their account or using their account of any purpose.
Okay. Yeah.
And Yeah, and that's just came up to my mind. Another thing that we discussed with my teammates recently, that our customer service works really, really well. And that's not because I'm the employee of the exchange. Long before I joined the Gate, I noticed that they are replying really, really fast to any requests. So in that way, we are able to react and overreact to any kind of message from our own users, because I think no one is monitoring assets better than the owner of that asset. And it's crucially important to be in touch. That's what we are trying to do, making sure that our customer support is working 24/7 and replying within 48 to like 56 hours. But still, in comparison to other competitors, it's very fast.
Yes, and I like agree a lot because within AMLBot, we also have such service as crypto investigations, where basically users come to us when their cryptocurrency got stolen, and they asked us to do an investigation in order to understand where the cryptocurrency is. And sometimes the cryptocurrency sits, like the malicious actor that stole the cryptocurrency transfers it to some cold storage, and then it sits there for some time. And then we mark that wallet. And then when we see the movement, we try to react very fast. And sometimes when the hacker tries to withdraw the funds to some sort of a centralized entity, either an exchange or OTC desk, in order to kind of off-ramp, then you only have sometimes minutes to reach out to that particular entity and to ask them to block the transactions, because otherwise the funds will be gone. So it's very important to, even without taking in mind this service, but even I think if the user notices that there is some suspicious activity on his exchange, the first thing he must do is to reach out to the exchange and hope that the exchange will be fast enough to catch that sort of activity.
Yeah, and just a piece of advice: never neglect the KYC, never neglect to ensure that you have some extra password set up, extra security system set up, because we do provide a lot of those means, but some users just skip it because it's like too long or they are lazy to use it. So also try to secure yourself and do that, because in that way, if you are full onboarded on the exchange and we have all the information, it is much faster and easier to verify the assets, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, thank you. So now we can move on to a bit of a glimpse of how you conduct your anti-money laundering and know your customer practices. So the first question I was going to ask, how does Gate in general manage its users from the compliance standpoint of view? I know it's a very broad question, but maybe you can give a bit of glimpse of if you do any KYC of the users, if you check the cryptocurrency that users deposit, if you check the wallets where the users withdraw. So if you can give us a bit of comments on that.
Yeah, first of all, we do make sure that users are 100% independent on whether and how they're using their assets. We don't want to cross the line, and we want to keep them not only safe, but also completely independent. However, we have to make sure that we are in compliance with all the security measures. Therefore, we use the Merkle tree scheme, and we also use the third-party auditing in order to make sure that we have all the compliance security set up. So users can basically verify that 100% of their assets are indeed stored on Gateio. And we also hired an independent virtual currency accounting and auditing company to help with the audit. And it's kind of like, we were one of the first in the industry to do so. in order to make sure that we are auditing, but we don't access the accounts that easily. We do that on the stage of KYC, and of course we have a few levels of KYC for the users depending on their trading volume and on amount of their deposit and withdrawal. And I think it's crucial because if trading is done on the really serious professional levels, then traders have to make sure that they are compliant. It's even for their own sake and safety, because in the end of the day, they are going to use their financial means in some way, right, in real world. And if they are not making sure that it's like 100%, so to say, clean, then they will have problems, if not with us, then further. And that's for their own sake.
I understand. And for example, I know that in order to use Gate, you should do KYC. So what, I know maybe it's like internal information, but in general, how often does it happen that you will reject someone's KYC, and maybe what are some suspicious factors that you will not want the user to use the exchange? Because I would assume there are such cases.
I would not say that we don't want users to use the exchange. Sometimes it's just the lack of the information provided for us to fully understand the picture. Of course, I cannot provide you with the exact statistics. However, I must say that we make sure to communicate through the customer support with our users and make sure that they have, they are completely informed what information they need to submit. And in that way, we can receive all the things that we need, and there will be no problem, no one will be rejected from the exchange itself. Our KYC policy is very well written and it's kind of clear. So I think it's very, very understandable in a way. We never had problem with users not understanding the security policy and KYC. However, for some beginner traders or small volumes, it's much more easier. So user can just try the Gate, try all the products, trade for a bit, and then move his or her assets to the exchange fully. And after this decision is made, the trader has to go through procedure of KYC. And we make sure that our traders are guided through that way. And we help them as much as we can to provide us with all the information. And we also are warning them, you will get notifications if you have some documents missing or some information is missing, and your activity becomes kind of suspicious, or users become too active. We would always reach out and let them know. We would not just block account without warning. If that's done, then we really, really have reasons to believe that those assets are illegal.
Yeah, well, I think it's a very nice approach when you make everything clear for the user, and then when it's clear and then the user does something wrong, then probably is something wrong.
Yes.
Okay, and in terms of the so-called dirty assets, let's say if the cryptocurrency got stolen, there was some hack, and it's well known that the wallet that has the assets has the assets been hacked, or for example, the assets come from a dark market address that sells illegal stuff online, or if it's sanctioned wallet, the recent cases Tornado Cash, for example. If you probably have some cases where then those assets come to your exchange. So how do you deal with those situations when users deposit those kind of illegal assets?
I would say we don't have that much of cases where it's completely 100% clear. And I cannot confirm or deny that there are cases, those cases even took place. I think any case is very, very individual, and internal investigation have to be done. We have to make sure that those assets are, as you call them, dirty, and what what is the cause and the reason for that. We are always on the side of our users and trader in any way. Therefore, we are taking it really seriously and investigate this really seriously. Every issue is kind of like an individual one, and we do consult with auditing company a lot to make sure that we are compliant with all the rules and regulations. However, we make sure to communicate all the process with the trader itself.
Yeah, that's good, because sometimes actually what I know from our experience, some of the users, they also come to us and they say that their account has been frozen on some exchange. And then, but they say like why? Like, I've never done like anything illegal. Like, I've never interacted with dark market. Like, I'm just have my cold wallet, have my savings there, and then I just send them to exchange, sometimes to exchange for other assets or to exchange to fiat. And then what can actually happen, that the user, so it's very nice that you kind of take the user's perspective first, not kind of claiming that they're criminals without the investigation. Because what can usually happen is that, let's say, a user, he sells like his computer to his friend, and the friend pays to his wallet with crypto. And he hasn't done anything illegal. He just sold his personal item, and because it's easier, he receives cryptocurrency. But in fact, what could have happened is that his friend's crypto wallet, let's say he had some cold wallet, was already infected, that his friend interacted with dark market, or his friend interacted with someone that was sanctioned, let's say. And then by receiving the funds from such a wallet, you also infect your wallet. So then when you would check the wallet of the guy that sold his computer, that didn't do anything illegal, you will see that his wallet will have a really high risk score. So when this situation happened, then it will be up to the investigator to help the victim to prove that he didn't do anything illegal. It just happened to be that he received the cryptocurrency from that source. So yeah, just very good approach, that you first try to understand what actually happening that had actually happened, than just simply blocking the account. Because not gonna lie, some people have their life savings in crypto, and if one of the sudden everything is like gone or frozen, someone might be like really disappointed.
But I think it's a good situation if you got your savings or assets frozen on an exchange, on Gate, for example, because it's frozen, it's not gone. Even if it's blocked in any way, with working on such a big exchange as Gate, you are kind of insured that in anyhow your assets are still there. You just need to do some actions in order to prove that they are in fact legal and you didn't do anything wrong. I heard about recent cases where some accounts have been blocked without any warnings, and I was also pretty concerned about that. I felt like, what is then the difference between regulation, like sanctions, or the standard way how government does it with banks, and how big exchanges are doing that with the assets? It's like, what is the difference then, and what is the purpose? I like to talk about the mission of crypto a lot, so stop me please. But initially the mission of crypto was freedom, right? And absence of regulation. Therefore, it is important to make sure that users are protected in a way. But also, a lot of times it's a question of a mistake or misfortune, or sometimes not enough attention was paid to the transactions that were made. So I would advise to, again, go through all the KYC that you can, make sure that your account is secured in all the ways that is possible, that Gate provides you with all the tools, and then be patient and contact the exchange itself. If you're just going out and trying to make some public statements, before you get the answer, the reply, the response, it usually doesn't make any effect, right? So of course there would be periods of time where it's like more busy thing, more busy time for the customer service. So it's important to stay, like, to keep that cold mind on you. And if you are sure that you didn't do any illegal activity, then for a fact you can prove it. So then your accounts will be, your assets will be in the safe place. If they are blocked on Gate, that's not a big problem. So don't worry.
Yeah, I think it's very good to hear to some people. So just don't freak out. Your assets are still there. Just need to prove. Okay, so actually, last question that we had from this topic is nowadays, with everything that's happening in the world, first of all, it's crazy. And second of all, there are consequences to that. And one of the consequences is sanctions. Be the sanctions either like from the political reasons or from the money laundering reasons. But there are increasing number of sanctioned wallets, actually, which also kind of a new paradigm in crypto, that before that there were sanctioned individuals, right? Sanctioned list of names, and now it's the sanctioned name of the wallets. And actually, cryptocurrency, because of its nature, in the real world, if you would interact or be a friend or, I don't know, maybe a relative of a sanctioned individual, 99% of the time, no one will know about it. And God forbid, even if it's a terrorist, you can, if you are like his friend and you know that you can still open a bank account, you can still live a normal life. But what is interesting about crypto, that if the wallet that you interact was sanctioned and you have many interactions and activities with this wallet, then your wallet kind of becomes on the radar as well. So it's kind of, it's on one point is good, on the other point it might be a curse, because there was a case after the Tornado Cash got sanctioned that someone sent 0.1 Ethereum from the sanctioned wallets to thousands of wallets, making them kind of sanctioned as well. So what is the position of Gate on that? And how do you guys try to deal with this ever-growing sanction list and sanction policies?
It's a difficult and interesting and tricky question, I would say. And it's not easy to answer it one-fold, because there is a lot of points on you on that. The reason why Gate became one of the biggest exchanges in the world is that we never rushed into things. We never rushed into making announcements, statements, declaring our position. We would always kind of try to analyze the situation first, analyze all the information first, and then make sure to secure our users in a way, inform them, and then make a statement. So right now we are kind of in the process of processing of what is happening in the world, because what is happening is obviously crazy and it's not stable at all. We are waiting for some serious moves to be done on the market in order for us to adopt. I think at this point, we are 100% safe and secure, and we make sure that our users are protected. And at the same time, we are making sure not to rush into any public statements on the situations that are currently happening in the world. Thankfully, no one of our users faced any kind of mentioned problems. And that's good, I think. That's good, because we are trying to keep it separate from the politics, or separate from the entire instability of this world. It sounds poetic, I know, but your question is kind of like leading me into those philosophic thoughts. So that's like the answer that I can give you. For now, we are analyzing and adopting and making sure that our exchange is flexible in a way so that it can protect the users, but at the same time complying with all legal regulations in every particular country that we perform our activity.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great answer, and the question is, of course, is not black and white. It's very hard.
Yes.
That's the whole situation, and how you would react. It's of course up to the company, but definitely sometimes it makes more sense to kind of step back and to see what is going on, not to engage with that, immediately, but to take some time. So, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on, I would say that being in such a new, fresh, and young industry, and at the same time in this technology that is constantly developing and improving, it is a curse, right? And the blessing, as you said, because on one hand, we are having a chance to build and develop something great, right? We have a chance to be innovative and be first in some things. We are able to do the great things for our users and kind of like bring back the feeling of freedom with finances that was lost for a moment. But it comes with the challenges, and challenges, of course, are rising all the time, coming with the current situation in the world, coming with the desire of the government. The more visible cryptocurrencies are, the more desire governments have to control it and kind of put their big hand on it. Therefore, it's important for us to stay wise, stay calm, and keep it on the tech side. I feel like we are keeping it more on the tech side instead of like marketing side, making unnecessary announcements or making unnecessary moves. We are just making sure that we are improving our trading products and improving our security system while making sure our users are completely informed about all the challenges about all the opportunities, because challenging times comes with great opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's a great phrase to seal all the regulatory and questions for today. So apart from all of things that we discussed, let's have an easy question. What kind of the last one before we move to the audience questions? What is some plans of Gate for this year, and maybe what are your expectations, challenges in your role for this year?
I see my mission to educate users about all the amazing trading products that we have. It's kind of the off topic, but we do have a lot of trading products that are kind of like in the shade so far. That's why I set kind of like a goal for myself to educate as much as we can as a team and as Gateio. We try to improve and we try to adapt again and again, over and over, and we try to build communities in more countries and cities than we did before. We try to bring our products to the ground, so to say, gather feedback. We recently launched an amazing ambassador program, an amazing university program, because we are kind of tackling the young and ambitious people who have much knowledge and are ready to use that knowledge in order to develop the industry, right? Develop the crypto industry. So we are trying to educate more and at the same time work with our existing users in order to become more comfortable for them. We are focusing on user journey rather than just marketing itself. We are trying to concentrate around our traders, ask them questions. What do they need? How do they want us to improve? And in that way, we are working in improving.
Yeah, and I can assure that, because Gate has recently changed this kind of red iconic design to like a blue-white one, and I think it's really cool, and it's way more user-friendly. As you say, you're focusing on the user journey. So yeah, so that's great. Thank you very much for your answers. And now, I don't know if you have a chat in front of you, but I
No, I don't.
do. Yeah, so I will just try to find some good questions for us and for you. So, okay, let's start from the beginning. So how Gate meets the AML requirements? I think you have already answered this question extensively. Um, so maybe one question, maybe if you can add other updates, are there any updates for KYC and AML on Gate? I think what the user meant if you're planning to kind of add some extra KYC layers or AML layers in the near future.
At this moment, I cannot confirm that we are planning on adding more KYC or adding more check layers, authorization layers. Yeah, this information is kind of like out of my reach. Even I
Okay.
don't have the access to this kind of knowledge.
Okay, fair enough. Next question is how PureFi and AMLBot works with Gate. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, PureFi stock and UEFI is actually listed on Gateio, and this is the only centralized exchange where we're listed. And AMLBot, since AMLBot is also a project from our ecosystem, so we so far just have a business development relationship where we have an open dialogue as we have today about the regulation and compliance. So this is how we cooperate so far. Okay,
Very
let's
nicely.
see. Yeah, let's see some other question. There is some provocative questions. For example, is that possible to wash money with sexes and how? I mean,
Good question.
yeah, I mean, I don't think that anyone can give you an answer for that, and I really hope that it will be impossible very, very soon.
I really
So
hope that this question was asked just of curiosity and not
yes,
with the purpose of having the plan. Don't do that. Don't do illegal stuff.
yeah, and I mean, it actually, those actions, they play against not only that individual, because of course the individual might get caught, go to jail, but it also puts in the bad light the whole crypto industry. And crypto industry already has so many wounds and scars from kind of more conservative people. So as less regulatory and money laundering problems we will have, the better it will be for the whole ecosystem in general. So, okay. Give us some regulations update regarding money laundering policies. I think this is the question in general. I can answer it. Well, so how it works in general, that for the money laundering, there is this authority that is called FATF organization, or FATF, and I think close to 190 countries are part of this organization. And this organization issues so-called recommendations for its member states, kind of leaning them to adapt those recommendations as laws. And this basically, in short, those recommendations are that you both CeFi and DeFi need to do KYC and AML on its users. This is in short with some specifics, but this is essential. What is it about? And that the responsible entity is always the provider. So either the centralized exchange itself or the ultimate beneficial owner of the DeFi protocol, which can be a company or individual. And one of the recent updates that we have seen is the adaptation of these recommendations by the government. So if we're talking about EU, the recent most comprehensive policy, it's called MiCA, which will actually address very comprehensively many of the recommendations of FATF. And in a year or two, this will be an actual law that will require all of the businesses that want to operate with cryptocurrency to comply. And this, again, will include KYC, AML, and travel rule, where basically you would have to know your counterparty, depending on the amount of money that you transact. And basically it will result in the operators, or so-called CASPs, which are licensed cryptocurrency operators, to collect the information about the transactions and the users. I know it was really boring, but this is the recent updates on the regulations. Next question is how to protect from dirty money. I think Ola did a good job explaining how Gateio tries to protect itself and its users from the dirty money. But in general, what, for example, AMLBot preaches is a notion of crypto hygiene, which basically means that you need to be conscious who you interact with. If you just withdraw money from regulated exchanges, Gate or any other like Coinbase or Binance, it's perfectly fine. You don't need to check their wallets because they're already regulated, and you can be rest assured that if you only interact with those exchanges with your cold wallet or hot wallet that is unhosted, then you're going to have a really low risk score. But once you start interacting with the other parties that you don't know, that are not identified, it's a good idea to check their wallet before you interact with them, and frequently check your own wallet to see what is your risk score. And when you check in their wallet, you see if their risk score, ML risk score, is high, then you should not basically interact with that wallet and ask them to send the transactions from the other wallet. So being conscious with who you interact, I think it's the key.
And making sure you have completed all the KYCs that needed. Make sure that your account is fully set. Like I'm talking a bit about mobile verification, that you get the message on your phone. Some users just forget to do that. It's a useful thing. It's a useful thing just because the exchange can see that you're open, and at the same time you are eager to kind of protect your own assets and activity, and you can say that you complied with all our policies. In that way you have like a better history, right, on the exchange itself.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Next question, again, is a very tough one. Will DeFi be cleaned somehow?
Wow. I hope so.
Yeah.
Isn't it clean now? Okay, let's just play ignorant. Isn't it clean now? In a way.
Well, the problem is that, for example, exchanges like yours, they check the user's funds when they send them on the exchange. But until the recent time, the DeFi protocols, they of course, they don't have KYC, but they also do not check the users' wallets that interact with their smart contracts, giving a possibility that the sanctioned and so-called dirty wallets can interact with those smart contracts, making them kind of also infecting that smart contract in a way, or cases where there is an exploit of a bridge, or like some front-end hack where the users is able to do the phishing on their other assets of the users. basically stealing the cryptocurrency. So slowly but surely, DeFi also has started to adapt similar procedures as centralized exchanges. And for example, now Uniswap and Aave, they already blocking the non-compliant, so-called, or sanctioned, or wallet that contains stolen funds from its interface. So they already checking the wallets that connect to them. And I would really think that this is the tendency that will continue. And maybe when the biggest DeFi protocols would implement such feature, then you can say that more or less DeFi is clean. But it's the same like with traditional finance. You would never be able to eliminate all of the illegal and money laundering activity. So there will be that 2% that are still illegal.
Yeah, wow, your answer is amazing. I even don't have anything to add.
Thank you. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3 more questions. How do you think Tornado Cash is the end of money laundering in crypto? What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I don't agree 100% that it was handled well. I think it could be handled better in a way. And I think a lot of parties to this case made their own lessons. I do apologize for speaking so in a way distant, right? But I just try to formulate in the most adequate way. So I do believe that a lot of parties to that case may learn their lesson. And I do believe that there will be improvements that will be positive in general. However, I don't think that it will solve the whole problem that we have here. And I don't believe that we will ever reach the level of so-called utopia when everything will be kind of perfect, legal, with no issues. Even the biggest banks, the oldest banks in the world, they get hacked, they get robbed by modern technologies, right? So adopting, improving is the way to go. And I think that such cases play an important role in paying attention to the weak spots.
Yeah, it was an extensive answer. I agree with you that there is always this challenge how you would balance the technological innovation with being compliant, and there is always this search for it. So let's do the last question and then we can wrap it up. And actually we have one more. So the first one, if a scammer transferred the stolen funds to Gate and you were informed about this, what will you do? I think you already answered that question.
Yeah, there will be an internal investigation on that. And we will reach out to the audit company in order to consult. And we need to make sure about all the details of the case. Every case is treated individually and in particular.
Okay. Yep. That's the answer. And the last question, will Gate create their own DEX?
I can neither confirm or deny this information at this point, but stay tuned to the news and stay tuned to other updates. Gateio is evolving always, and we do invest a lot in the technology, as I said. Anything is possible.
Good. Yeah, of course. All right, so I think we can wrap it up. So what are your top 3 picks for the questions?
Oh, actually, I think about everything with money laundering and dirty money are my favorite in the way that as an exchange official, it's difficult to talk about that and avoid personal opinions. But I think it was challenging enough And I do think that we uncovered a lot of interesting topics, not only from the point of Gate, but also kind of like for the all decentralized exchanges and industry in general. So I truly enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you. And as regards for the users' questions, I personally like the one about the regulation updates regarding the AML policies, because I think it's kind of provided some knowledge base for the users on this topic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other question from the user that you liked?
No, and I think a lot of questions were kind of like a good complementary questions to the issues that we already covered. They were all on point. So thank you all about the questions. I hope we answered them. At least we tried our best.
Yeah. All right, then let's put the one about regulation updates in the first place. The second, we can make the one about if the DeFi will be cleaned somehow. So it was an interesting one.
Agree.
And let's put the last one about the PureFi and AMLBot cooperation about Gate, because this is about actually us, the company. So why not? So everyone that we mentioned, just please reach out to AMLBot on Twitter, and we will provide you the instructions on how to claim your reward. So Ola, thank you very much for your time. I know that it's already very late in South Korea. So again, thank you so much for making time for us and for doing this call. It was very helpful to talk with an official from such a big and reputable exchange. And I hope that our partnership from the both projects will continue, and I hope that the Gate will be growing and expanding as well. And we'll see where the future brings us. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I truly enjoyed the conversation and all the questions. It was really interesting, and let's cooperate more in the future. I'm always happy to be a late guest. For me, it's kind of like a late show, but just an amazing experience.
Yeah, next time we can do it earlier, because it's like 7 p.m. in Europe, so we can do it like a bit earlier, so it's not that late for you. All right.
It's all good. Thank you so much, and cheers.